We'll be taking you out on safari down in the Eastern Cape for the morning. Behind the camera is Morgan. We're very happy to be on Sunrise Safari, and it's already a very good day. Now, if you are a sensitive viewer, maybe best not to have a look, but we have managed to find the 3 young male cheetahs again, and they are feeding because it's nice and early in the morning, it's nice and cool, and lo and behold, the stomach has not yet popped. It was one of the first things we checked when we got here. Regardless of the cheetahs feeding, I think in the drop in temperature yesterday, everything kind of fizzled down, and that hole on the side must have led to a bit of leaking, so perhaps not enough pressure to completely burst that stomach. Pity, we wanted to see what it was like, but I'm glad we didn't wait it out the whole of yesterday afternoon. We might have been disappointed. But how brilliant is it to see these 3 young males, 2 of them still feeding at the carcass. One has decided to have a nap because he's too full. But this is definitely not something we get to see every day. And we have also figured out what the carcass is, finally. We have figured it out. It's a young red hartebeest. So we only know that because every now and then we are seeing one lift the horns or the head section, and we can easily see the shape is that of a young red hartebeest. It's the cheetah on the right there, you can see is lifting the head. And that's a brilliant way to start the day. Dizzy, I'm so happy that you're joining the cheetahs for breakfast. What are you having for breakfast this morning? Let me know. Hopefully something a little bit better cooked than what the cheetahs are having, but for them, I suppose it's perfect. Right, you will also hear the radio is on in the background. We are the only vehicle here, and there will be people coming to join us. So it is on the lowest volume, and hopefully it doesn't get in the way too much. But I know you're all used to the radio anyway. Oh, look, that one with the collar has just sat up. It heard the crows coming over. Listen. That sounds like a bullfrog in the background. That's the crow. Oh, was that a bit of a burp, cheetah? You could see the body positioning was as though something was coming back up. A bit of gas from eating a lot. So, of course, for the cheetahs, anything that could feed on this carcass is a concern. As much as there are 3 of them, and they're quite big already, they do need to be careful of a mass of birds coming in, or even the birds attracting things like brown hyenas or lions. They've got to be careful when they're feeding at a carcass. This is quite a vulnerable position for them, especially with very full bellies. And cheetahs are really well designed to eat as much as possible as quickly as they can. So it's quite rare to see cheetahs on the same carcass for more than a day. A day in itself is a gift to cheetahs. So these 3 don't actually know how lucky they are being able to completely finish a carcass if they want to. It doesn't normally happen like that for cheetahs in most areas. They get chased off almost immediately. Cindy D, where we are now, we can't smell the carcass. Where we were earlier when we arrived, we actually stopped to the right of them just to work out where we wanted to go, where the third cheetah was, because we could only see two, so we gave it a bit of time. We could smell it there. We were downwind. But luckily the wind is blowing from left to right and down towards the right, not from them to us. So we can't smell it at the moment. It doesn't smell bad yet because it's been quite cool since yesterday afternoon. So it takes a little bit more time for it to start smelling ripe. At the moment it still smells just like very fresh meat mixed with a bit of organs. It's not a bad smell. But luckily we're not smelling it here. We could actually, after the rain, so they killed that female kudu outside of the house. When was that? Easily 6 weeks ago, hey Morgan? About 6 weeks ago, they killed that female kudu outside the house, and she also bloated to a massive extent until they opened her up and started feeding. That was still smelling when I got here, which was 2 weeks after, and it was still smelling until about 3 weeks ago. And then it stopped smelling because it had dried out to the point where nothing was really smelly anymore. But it's amazing, that first rain that we got, my goodness, that thing was back to being at its ripest smell literally the next morning. So the moisture of the rain obviously gave a bit more life to the bacteria on the carcass, and everything started happening all over again. It went back to the wet phase of decomposition as opposed to the dry phase, which doesn't smell. It's just got a bit of a musky smell, I suppose, once it's dry. Wow, they are really tucking in. Oh, the third brother's coming back. Is he going to feed again? Yes. This is my first time ever seeing the three of them on a carcass. Yesterday we had one briefly come up to the carcass and leave, but I haven't seen them all feeding before. Oh, there's the horns. He's picking up the whole head. So he looks like he's going for the meat in and amongst those neck vertebrae, which makes a lot of sense. Hartebeest have a very strong neck. Oh, Anna Marie, isn't it brilliant to see them with a kill like this? We were a bit worried about them in the south because they were obviously eating something small every now and then to keep them going, but we haven't seen them on a substantial carcass in easily 2 weeks. So this is the first big kill that they have had in ages. They must have been absolutely starving. It also explains why they managed to eat so much of it yesterday. Cheetahs normally can't eat that much. But with 3 growing boys that are all quite hungry, I suppose it doesn't go very far.